You ever wonder how just one single sentence can completely tear a family apart? Well, we're about to dive into a classic tale about three brothers where a father's simple words of praise totally ignite a fire of jealousy. And that fire leads to betrayal, despair, and, you won't believe it, an absolutely unbelievable twist of fate. Everything, and I mean everything, hinges on this one sentence. With his last breath, the father, Ramlal, calls his youngest son, Arjun, the best. Now for Arjun, that's a blessing, right? But for his two older brothers, it's like a poison dart right to the heart. It plants the seed of resentment that's about to grow into a tangled, thorny mess. So with their father gone, that whole fragile idea of family unity just crumbles into dust. Let's take a look at how this family wasn't just divided. It was pretty much broken from the very start. This right here, this lays out the story's central fight. It's a classic battle of good versus, well, not so good. On one side, you've got Arjun. He's the poster child for kindness and duty. And on the other side, his brothers, Sukhdev and Baldev, who are just completely consumed by greed and jealousy. I mean, these aren't just little personality quirks. They are two opposing forces, and they are on a total collision course. The second their father is gone, the brothers show who they really are. They don't just take over the family business, they completely plunder it. And then, in a move that is just breathtakingly cruel, they throw their own brother and his wife, Gauri, out onto the street with literally nothing but the clothes on their backs. Okay, so this brings us to Arjun's first really big test. He's been cast out, he's got no money, he's forced to start over from absolute zero. But his brothers, see, they're not just happy taking his inheritance. No, they want to see him fail completely. Their jealousy demands not just that he's poor, but that he's publicly humiliated. Their plan is just so petty, but it's also incredibly cruel. So Arjun, who's just trying to make a living cutting wood, gets an axe on credit from the local blacksmith. His brothers see this, and what do? They follow him. The moment he dozes off from being so exhausted, they sneak in, steal the axe, and their whole hope is that he'll be publicly shamed when he can't pay the blacksmith back. And for a minute, it really seems like their plan worked. Arjun wakes up, he sees the axe is gone, and he is just completely devastated. He feels like he's lost his very last chance. He collapses under this ancient tree and just weeps, thinking it's all over. But here's the thing, what looks like the absolute end is actually a beginning. This moment of pure despair is about to kick off the story's first magical turning point, and it leads to something truly incredible. So as his genuine tears of sorrow soak into the ground, a forest fairy suddenly appears, and she reveals this incredible secret. She was cursed, trapped inside that tree, and only the tears of a truly sincere heart could set her free. His real, authentic pain has, without him even knowing it, performed an act of powerful magic. The fairy, she sees the whole situation, the brothers' treachery and everything, and she decides to reward Arjun's pure heart. She gives him a solid gold axe. So Arjun sells this axe, gets himself and Gauri out of poverty, and actually becomes a successful merchant. The brothers' plan? Yeah, it backfired spectacularly. Well, of course, seeing Arjun succeed only kicks the brothers' envy into overdrive. This sends them spiraling down an even darker path, leading to things that are more destructive and, ironically, even better for Arjun. It's a perfect example of how jealousy is just this fire that consumes itself. And this part really drives the moral home. The brothers hear Arjun's story and, what do you know? They try to copy it. They go to the same tree and start crying, but their tears are totally fake, driven only by greed. They cry from morning till night, but of course, nothing happens. Turns out, you can't trick magic. So now they're frustrated and more jealous than ever, so they escalate their little plots from petty theft to straight up attempted murder. They follow Arjun on one of his weekly walks, and as he's standing there, admiring the view from a high cliff, they push him. They think they've finally gotten rid of him for good. But just check out this unbelievable irony. For the second time, their attempt to destroy Arjun leads directly to his greatest fortune yet. His fall is broken by a tree, and right there at the bottom, he finds a chest just filled with gold coins. And as if that's not enough, he hears a cry for help from a nearby cave, where he finds and rescues a man who's been tied up and left for dead.
So now we get to the brothers' final desperate move. They can't ruin Arjun with magic or with violence, so they decide to use the law itself as a weapon against him. Their corruption is just so complete at this point, they're willing to twist justice itself to get what they want.
They go right to King Vikram and they paint this really convincing picture. They argue, look, no one gets that rich that fast, honestly. They claim his stories about fairies and finding treasure are just obvious lies to cover up that he's a thief. And, the king hears this pretty logical-sounding argument, believes them, and orders Arjun's arrest.
It really looks like Arjun is finally trapped. He's in the king's court, it's his word against his brothers, and the king already thinks he's a liar. But this is where all the final pieces of the puzzle, laid by both cruelty and kindness, are about to fall right into place.
Just as the king is about to pass his sentence, a voice cuts through the tension. A man steps forward. It's Aditya, the very same man Arjun rescued from the cave. And then comes the bombshell. He's not just some guy. He is Prince Aditya, the king's own son. In that single moment, the entire case against Arjun just collapses. The prince quickly explains the whole story. He was ambushed by the king's own treacherous minister, a guy who wanted the treasure and maybe even the throne. He was left to die in that cave, and he would have if Arjun hadn't been pushed off that cliff at that exact moment. It was a 1 in a million chance that saved his life. So, here's the final scoreboard. Justice is swift. The treacherous minister, arrested. The brothers, exposed as liars and plotters, banished in total shame. And Arjun, the one who acted with kindness and integrity through it all, he gets rewarded in the most amazing way possible. And in this beautiful final twist, the king, so moved by Arjun's incredible character, declares that Arjun will now be his second son. The very man who was cast out by his own flesh and blood is welcomed into the royal family. It just goes to show you that bonds built on character can be way stronger than bonds of birth. So we're left with this really powerful contrast, right? The brothers chased money and power, and it led them straight to ruin. Arjun just focused on being a good person, and in the end, he got family, honor, and riches. It kind of forces you to ask yourself, what does a truly wealthy life really look like to you?